had guns in the car, machine guns and silencers in the car. I had a couple more handguns also in the car. For protection, of course. And all of those...
For 2 decades, 50 Cent has lived by one very loud rule in the music industry. Every rival, blogger, podcaster, and troll hiding behind a phone screen knows it. Public disrespect comes with consequences. Not later, not when it's convenient, immediately. And that rule doesn't bend for your age, your last name, your bank balance, or however many Instagram followers you think make you untouchable. So when T.I.'s son, King Harris, allegedly decided to poke that line with dismissive comments about 50 online, what happened next was predictable to anyone who understands how Curtis Jackson moves. In early 2026, reports started lighting up hip-hop media and social platforms claiming people connected to 50 Cent's camp pulled up on King Harris and confronted him physically. The phrase flying through blogs and comment sections, King got smacked. Now 3 questions are running every timeline. What exactly did King say to invite that kind of energy to his doorstep? Where was T.I. while his son was out here provoking a man who has chewed up people far more powerful than a 21-year-old from Atlanta? And what does this situation reveal about the unwritten rules in hip-hop that still carry weight in 2026, just like they did when 50 first stepped onto the scene? To break this down properly, you have to understand who King Harris is and why he keeps finding himself in situations that could easily derail his future. Born August 25, 2004, King entered the world as the son of Clifford T.I. Harris and Tamika Tiny Harris. From day one, he was part of one of hip-hop's most recognizable families. T.I. built his reputation as a pioneer of trap music, famously crowning himself the King of the South and backing it up with commercial success, street credibility, and cultural influence that lasted over a decade. Millions of records sold, movie roles followed, business ventures expanded. But in October 2007, a federal weapons charge hit after T.I. attempted to purchase unregistered machine guns and silencers. That case led to roughly a year in federal prison before his release in December 2009.
We feel we could have beat.
Yeah, because there were never any conversations about silencers.
Right.
There's anything about you talking about machine guns.
Right.
And nothing to do with that.
When they went to my house and went in my closet and saw I had a vault full of more guns. And
that presented a bit of a problem.
But not even just that. The method in which you gained entry into this vault in my closet in the master bedroom of my house was biometric fingerprint scan, which I thought was very cool 007 type shit to do at the time. And that's the only motherfucking thing that kept me from beating the entire case.
Then came a drug possession arrest in September 2010, adding another 11 months behind bars. King grew up watching all of it unfold. Fame, fortune, federal cases, the constant collision between street culture and mainstream success playing out in real time. And somewhere along the way, the street narrative of his father's story seemed to grab his attention more than the wealth and opportunity sitting right in front of him. Over the past few years, King has made headlines for the wrong reasons. Videos have repeatedly surfaced showing him intense encounters around Atlanta neighborhoods. Instagram posts came off to many observers like an obvious attempt to build street credibility. Altercations caught on camera spread across the internet, and the public reaction barely changed. The same warning echoed again and again. This kid is going to step into something he can't step back from. T.I. has addressed it publicly more than once. One widely shared video showed him in a heated sidewalk exchange with King, visibly frustrated, trying to pull his son back home.
You're upset. You're mad. You can't lose it. I know you. I know you. Ain't no mystery about it. I know you though. I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business. You know I stand on business. Why you even letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me?
On various podcasts, T.I. spoke candidly about the difficulty of raising a son drawn to street behavior while every resource and opportunity sits within reach.
I mean, I think about how I was when I was his age.
12 times worse.
You did. You know, and I just, you know, I understand. I think he had some sort of like a survivor's remorse a little bit, because he, you know, as affluent and opulent as he grew up, as all the access to relationships, resources, and just, you know, the lifestyle that he grew up, he doesn't want that to precede his true character, his moral. He don't want to lean on, you know, being a celebrity kid. He don't want to lean on living in a mansion and being rich. He's like, yo, man, I'm gonna stand on.
Those conversations balanced fatherly frustration with empathy, acknowledging King's rebellious streak while making it clear T.I. hoped he'd choose a different path. But recognizing rebellion and stopping it are two very different challenges. Based on what's played out publicly, T.I. hasn't been able to keep King from drifting into increasingly risky situations, and that leads us straight to the moment that allegedly crossed a line no one in hip-hop should want to test. Multiple entertainment outlets and hip-hop commentators reported that King Harris directed disrespectful comments at 50 Cent on social media.
Bitch ass raised, I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going back my mama. I'm not going. So tell your ass mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mama. What's wrong with you? Y'all better tie y'all shoes. Y'all don't know who with. You better put that music up and shut the fuck up. Cause all that other shit ain't gonna get on my mother. Your mama. Dig that bitch up!
Independent confirmation of the exact wording through screenshots or recordings hasn't surfaced in available reports, but the consistent narrative is that the tone was dismissive and disrespectful.
Right like that. Your son don't love you. You don't got no family. You not loved. You rich, but you not loved, nigga. Money means nothing without no one to spend it with. Your son don't love you. And nigga, just for talking about my mama, I would slap the out that nigga just cause he share the same blood as you, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Man, at the end of the day, I don't play by my mama. I don't play by my mama. I'm just how I'm raised, nigga. I wasn't raised by y'all father, nigga. My dad is TIP, nigga. Tip, nigga. That's how I'm raised, nigga. I don't play like that.
Possibly questioning 50's relevance or even his street credentials. Let that sink in. A 21-year-old known primarily as a rapper's son allegedly went online and publicly disrespected Curtis Jackson, the same man who survived 9 bullets on May 24, 2000 outside his grandmother's house in Queens and turned that survival into a business empire worth tens of millions. The same man who methodically dismantled Ja Rule's career over years of calculated pressure and has never walked away from a public feud on the losing side. The same man who relentlessly targeted Rick Ross, financially pressured Young Buck, publicly embarrassed Randall Emmett over an alleged $1 million debt, traded shots with French Montana for years, and approached every conflict with a level of pettiness and persistence that's basically legendary. The same Curtis Jackson who is currently producing Netflix documentaries about Diddy and openly posting about Jay-Z's alleged connections to the Epstein files without hesitation. And King Harris chose that man as his online target. On the internet, the very battlefield where 50 operates like a seasoned general. Understanding why the aftermath felt inevitable means looking closely at 50's track record. The pattern isn't subtle. Letting things slide has never been part of Curtis Jackson's design. His public identity is built on one principle: disrespect gets answered every time. No negotiation.
Nobody ever came up to you and tell you straight up like, yo, 50, I don't fuck with you?
Nope. Because I slapped the shit out of him. Oh, look, I'll have somebody
slap nobody, Fifth.
No, I'll have the shit slapped out of him.
Yeah.
You'll have the shit.
Very fluently. Since the lawsuits and stuff started happening.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Yeah, you gotta move a little different.
You gotta go like this. Look, you gotta give the look.
But you got goons, right?
Not me. Why would I have something like that?
Right.
Why would I have things like that?
The Ja
The
Rule.
Ja Rule and Murder Inc. feud in the early 2000s wasn't just a couple of diss tracks and a handshake. 50 launched a multi-year campaign involving music, public clashes, and strategic industry moves that directly contributed to the collapse of what Murder Inc. had built.
October, you did something to get back at Ja Rule.
Yeah.
And please tell the people what you did, because this is quite
I bought like
extraordinary.
the first 4 rows in his concert.
You bought the first 4 rows in his concert?
Yeah, they was like on Groupon for $15. It wasn't a big deal. They was showing me the stuff on there, my sister and stuff, and I said, yo, they put concert tickets in? And I looked and his tickets was there. I was like, how much are the tickets? $15. I said, okay, give me the first 4 rows.
How many seats is that? That's got to be like 200 seats.
It's still ain't but like $3,000.
So when he came out, there's nobody in the first 4 rows of his concert? You do not want to with you.
Rick Ross became a target, and 50 escalated beyond music into personal territory, exposing private details about Ross's family and trolling him across every platform available.
You haven't destroyed Rick Ross's career.
What was Rick Ross' last album? Triple C's. You know how many copies that record sold?
No.
4,000 copies. What is destroyed? Fat Joe's last album sold 8,300 copies. This is what happens.
That's another one, you punching below your weight.
No. This is me fighting the fighters that are challenging me. Because you went to the gym the first few days and the coach called you champ, don't mean you ready to fight Floyd Mayweather. Do you understand? So if they come prematurely, I'll finish them now before they can even get good enough.
After Young Buck left G-Unit, 50 leaked private phone calls and applied financial pressure that dragged on for years.
Done. What do you mean? I think his career is finished. You know what I'm saying? It's because, like, his temperament, he won't actually get himself, like, right now he's in jail, but knowing who he is from the entire time that he's been around, I don't think he has what it takes to recover from, like, it takes discipline at that point, because it's when people begin to want to give you resistance. Hip-hop culture is out with the old and with the new.
When producer Randall Emmett allegedly owed him money, 50 turned Instagram into a full-blown collection agency, posting about the debt repeatedly until every dollar was reportedly paid. That persistence isn't a temporary strategy, it's an operating system. And 50's network stretches far beyond boardrooms and film sets. South Jamaica Queens shaped Curtis Jackson long before the industry did.
Not much. Like, I grew up with my grandparents. 'Cause my mom, she got killed when I was 8 years old. I had to live with them full time, and I went and stayed with them. And it was like, we was living on my grandfather's income. So he was real old-fashioned. He's representation of tradition for me. So he would just come and give my grandmother this check. And I never understood that growing up. I was like, you just gonna give her the whole check? He was like, yeah, what's the matter with you? Like, and then later, like as an adult, he'll tell me, he said, you couldn't see it and you won't understand it because you was a baby. He said, but when I gave your mama the check, he said, when I gave your mama the check, it stopped her from looking at things I couldn't give her. Because she was aware of what was really there, it made my responsibilities her responsibilities.
G-Unit represents more than chart success or television ratings. The people in 50's orbit include individuals tied to his upbringing, connected to a world that runs on rules very different from Instagram hot takes and podcast debates. When headlines mention 50 Cent's affiliates, the conversation isn't limited to managers and lawyers. There's another layer, one built on codes established long before social media existed. So when reports surfaced claiming individuals connected to 50 Cent's camp physically confronted King Harris after his comments, the hip-hop world didn't react with shock. It reacted with something closer to weary acceptance. Thousands of voices seemed to say the same thing. We saw this coming. Details about the alleged confrontation vary depending on the source. Some accounts describe King being approached and struck by people linked to G-Unit or 50's wider circle. Official confirmation of the exact time, location, or first-hand accounts hasn't been provided in current reporting. There's also no confirmed public statement from 50 Cent claiming responsibility or openly endorsing the encounter. But that silence carries its own weight. Historically, 50 lets actions speak first, then follows up online. Whether 50 personally orchestrated this specific incident remains unclear. What isn't unclear is the pattern. Public disrespect aimed at Curtis Jackson tends to bring consequences. Whether those consequences come from direct instruction or from people around him operating within an established code, the message stays the same. In his world, disrespect doesn't just trend, it gets answered. That code has operated the same way for decades, and of course, the internet had opinions stacked sky high. The loudest crowd placed the blame squarely on King Harris. Their logic was simple. You don't hop online and disrespect a man with 50 Cent's reputation and resume, then act stunned when something physical follows. That's either ignorance or arrogance, and neither one shields you from what comes next. 50's habit of responding to every slight isn't some hidden secret. Anyone who's crossed him publicly has the receipts. King either knew that and moved reckless anyway, or he didn't bother studying the man he was poking. Both roads led to the same outcome. Another wave of criticism turned toward T.I. Years of chances to step in and redirect King's escalating behavior became part of the case against him. The controversial Instagram posts, the street run-ins caught on camera, the steady pattern of King putting himself in positions that invited exactly this type of backlash. All of it pointed to a parenting gap T.I. has admitted existed but never fully closed. The blunt question echoed everywhere. How does T.I., a man who personally knows 50 Cent, who understands the layered history between them, who has watched 50 dismantle people online and offline for 20 years, fail to drill into his own son that targeting Curtis Jackson can come with real-world consequences? Because T.I. is far from unfamiliar with 50. Their relationship has swung between mutual respect and public tension.
If I ask you to paint a picture of the American flag and not use the color red, you're gonna have a difficult time. You know, I understand it. I'm actually angry at some points when I'm confused or I don't have information. So again, I understand why I'm constantly being attacked on some levels, but you see T.I. anxious to answer the same question because he falls into the same category.
I think, you know, what 50 was trying to put in the word without losing his temper is that like it all starts at home. Okay, I'm a father of 5, okay? And my kids watch BET, they watch all kinds of videos, they watch movies, they listen to music, they like 50, they like Lil Wayne, they like, you know, whomever you can mention. But when my children look at this TV and see these videos and listen to this music, I don't care how impressionable it is. They know they ain't gonna have to deal with 50, they gonna have to deal with daddy.
50 has trolled T.I. on social media before, touching on legal issues, family matters, and personal headlines. T.I. has fired back when he felt like it. Their history is well documented. T.I. knows exactly how 50 operates, how wide his reach extends, and what typically happens to people who disrespect him publicly. For his own son to end up on the receiving end suggests a disconnect somewhere between what T.I. understands and what King actually absorbed. Then there was a third perspective, coming from a different angle entirely. King Harris, born in 2004, is still a young man, regardless of how grown he tries to move online. Grown individuals connected to one of entertainment's most powerful figures physically confronting him raises uncomfortable questions about balance. This view didn't excuse King's recklessness, but it did highlight the obvious age and power gap between a celebrity's teenage son and 50 Cent's extended network. A fourth narrative used the entire situation as a cautionary tale. Celebrity kids who cosplay street culture on Instagram without fully grasping what that culture demands when tested in real life are gambling with stakes they don't truly understand.
To this report from the DEA that says that 50 Cent tried to make an anonymous call to report someone for unaliving somebody who was affiliated with G Unit. And then when the DEA's office found out that 50 Cent was the one that placed the anonymous call, during their interview with him, he said that he was in fear for his life. Now, there's a lot that goes into this story because you need to know that Lodi Mack was a man who was affiliated with G Unit and was unalived in 2009. Now, according to this alleged DEA report that King Harris shared, 50 Cent reached out to the DEA's office anonymously to report someone for unaliving Lodi.
King Harris isn't the first rapper's child to discover that money and a famous last name don't function as armor. The gap between a bold Instagram post and the real-world environment street culture comes from is enormous, and King seemingly calculated that distance the hard way. Zooming out, this moment also connects to the larger space 50 Cent is occupying in early 2026. This is someone simultaneously producing Netflix documentaries about Diddy, posting about Jay-Z and the Epstein files, publicly challenging billionaire-level power structures, and, if reports are accurate, still surrounded by people who operate on a respect code older than social media itself. 50 in this chapter of his career moves across multiple arenas at once. And while the King Harris situation is small compared to the Diddy and Jay-Z tensions, it reinforces a message that has followed Curtis Jackson since day one. Playing with his name isn't a game. Mistaking his evolution into a TV producer and businessman for softness is a serious misread.
50 Cent fears ever historically in life.
All of the situations, if you don't have fear, then you just not acknowledge the danger. Or that point,
I learned that for 50 and flow.
Nah, yeah, but you just not look with that. You just not scared enough.
Sure.
You watch that guy that just has zero fear and say, yeah, we can get him. He's tough. We're gonna have a hard time chewing on him, but we're gonna get him.
Mm-hmm.
We get him. Like, other than that, you just gotta pay attention to your surroundings and things that's going on. Like, and you say, never saying toughest guy. So I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I die in the process, I would do what I wanted to do. For even the things, look, it's power to dog.
Yep.
I get hit, come back, get rich or die trying.
Yeah.
Right? And the process, because that's already what I'm feeling like I'm going to do. I'm in the process. It's the greatest thing is to watch me, because either I'm going to get rich or I'm going to die in the process. And this is where I'm going to fall the record.
The principles.
The rules that shaped him in 1990s Queens are still active. They don't adjust for fame, family wealth, or industry connections. T.I. now stands in a tough spot with no clean exit. Going hard at 50 could spark a conflict he can't realistically sustain, especially considering the cultural momentum and media leverage 50 holds right now. Staying silent risks looking like he can't shield his own family. Trying to smooth it over privately would require a level of diplomacy that their history doesn't exactly suggest comes easy.
I seen you call for the verses. I spoke to them that I wanted to speak to.
And told about you were fit.
Yeah, man, we talk about this shit, man. This just come out of nowhere. And when I jump out there, act like he ain't know what's going on. I had no interest in standing on stage with that nigga. I don't respect it.
As for King Harris, he may have just paid the most expensive lesson of his young life, not in money, but in the only currency that truly matters in hip-hop, respect and reputation. Every move he makes online from here on out will be filtered through this moment. And anyone who was thinking about testing 50 Cent's patience just got another reminder. Consequences don't come with exemptions, not for last names, not for family wealth, not for celebrity status. A career built on turning disrespect into headlines, consequences, and cultural moments laid out the blueprint decades ago. King Harris apparently didn't study it. Now his name is permanently filed in the archive.